is the commissioner of the Department of Administrative Services and may have been, along with the governor, one of the last people we had in the studio before the pandemic hit. Josh, good morning. How are you?
I'm doing well, Joe, Ray, good morning. That day in the studio with the governor feels like yesterday. Amazing that was 6 months ago now.
Isn't it crazy? I mean, at times things fly by, and at times it seems like it's going forever. But
so it does.
So much has happened since then, and earlier this week, the governor announced the new fines for violating rules on social gatherings and mask wearing. Was it the increase in positivity, Josh, that induced the governor to make that decision?
No, actually, it really wasn't. What we've seen, overall, the people of Connecticut have been unbelievable through this, really doing an amazing job of listening to the guidelines, doing the right things to help us get COVID under control in Connecticut. And for the last, basically all summer, we've been in a great position and continue to be in a very good position, one of the best in the nation. These fines really came out of a request from our municipal leaders. We've been hearing over the last weeks and months from mayors and first selectmen, local health directors, local police, that they wanted some additional tools to help them drive compliance and enforcement around, wearing masks and limiting the size of big gatherings. As it stands previously, violation of an executive order is a misdemeanor, so that would typically mean someone would be arrested. And so, that's pretty harsh, for not wearing a mask, walking down the streets. They basically asked for some additional tools and infraction, similar to a speeding ticket or something that they could use to help make sure, people are doing the right thing.
So, Josh, it's on a town-by-town basis that it's enforced, right? It's up to the town to enforce the rule?
That's correct. So, tools for the local municipal leaders to use as they see fit.
Okay. Wow.
Josh, so have you been finding that people are paying attention to the rules or the suggestion, shall we say, that the governor has made, or is the longer we go in the pandemic, the more people are inclined to kind of break outside of the bounds?
Right.
Yeah, it's a great question. I think we're all feeling COVID fatigue, right? We've been at this for a while. Everybody's very frustrated that we've had to do the things we've had to do. But, look, overall, I think people continue to, in Connecticut, continue to do a great job, continue to wear masks. Most of the national studies show that Connecticut rates among the highest states in the nation for good hygiene around wearing masks and distancing and so forth. So, the state's done an amazing job, and I think the results, speak for themselves.
Josh, when do we know it's time to, okay, you won't need a mask, or maybe you'll need it just in this situation? Who makes that determination? Well, the governor, ultimately. But does he have people who would advise him on that?
Yeah, from day one, the governor's been very clear that we're going to lead with science and public health. And so, the governor is constantly talking to our public health department, Commissioner Gifford, the epidemiologist there, other outside experts from Yale School of Public Health, from other national leaders, Scott Gottlieb, former FDA commissioner, Dr. Fauci, et cetera. So it's really a call that will come.
Hey guys out there in Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. I got Victoria, Eloise in the house, and that was a clip that I just played for you that the Connecticut Liberty Rally shared yesterday. And God bless those Patriots, because they are out there, and they've got more video, and I've got video coming in from them, and I'm looking forward to putting something together of their stuff that they've been doing. They were out there on top of the governor today again. But what you just heard was Josh Gabal, and I'm Jay Cherry. I'm going to be live with Victoria, Eloise. So if you're watching on Twitter and Facebook and YouTube, thank you for watching. Hit subscribe on YouTube. I'm not sure what we're going to do as the censorship gets crazy, but while we still can, let's talk about this. Let's follow the money. Hey, Victoria, let me see. Where did you go here? There we are. There she is. Wait, no. Hold on. Oh, hey there, girl. How are you?
Hey, how are you doing?
Good. So I wanted to, last time we talked, you had some explosive information, and we got into it, and our favorite villain, if we can call him favorite, but Josh Gabal. And it's so dense and intense that I thought, well, we would recap that and get that out there, because I don't think people realize Josh Gabal, what his relationship is to the governor, how, it's so interesting in all these executive orders, how it has the economic of community development department. It always has, like, it's up to that entity. And then here we have Josh Gabal, which seems to be Lamont's, like, PR person. He's like the spokesperson. And let's get into him a bit. And I can go pull up what post I need to pull up, but just get I was just like, where do we begin with this craziness?
He's top 3 villains. We got Annie Lamont, number 1.
Yeah.
In my opinion, Governor Lamont, he's the governor. I'm gonna start saying strictly not my Governor Lamont. Okay, not my Governor Lamont. And Josh Gabal. I can't believe what they are letting these 3 goons get away with.
And they are goons. I mean, they seriously are goons. But, somebody posted yesterday on Twitter, there was a tweet about the Holocaust Museum, and it had like a snippet of IG Farben and Bear. And I had shared it, and the reason why I was sharing it is because it's like, here we are today. We have this situation where we have big pharma and these predators back at it again. And I immediately think of these characters like Josh Gabal, Ned Lamont, Annie Lamont, and all the things that they're doing and how they're making a lot of money on testing and vaccines and all of these things that they want to mandate people to do as well. It's terrifying, and it's mind-blowing.
The financial conflict of interest alone is it shocks me that, there's so many things that are going on that are just beyond morally bankrupt, but just the fiscal part of it is like, these people are getting rich off drugs, off prescription drugs, prescription drugs. They're getting rich off every single COVID test, every single test that gets run through Thermo Fisher or Sema4, because Thermo Fisher has essentially taken over testing, which, Josh Gabal, VP of Digital Sciences there, he worked for IBM for 11 years. And it's like that fact alone, the fact that he sees every bit of the technology, like he sees there's nothing preventing him from going in and manipulating test technology. Like, how can we, if they lie about everything else, how can we trust that they're not falsifying test results? The Department of Public Health has come out and says, the FDA, comes out and says, hey, Thermo, so it's like, there's so much that's being ignored.
And I had a slide on here, Victoria, that you can't see, but I just put up. You'll see it in the playback. But anyway, I put a slide on here yesterday about the FDA. What you guys are seeing right now is the FDA giving a warning about the Thermo Fisher test, which is shocking to me. And one of the things that really is shocking to me, so Thermo Fisher and Josh Gabal's relationship to Thermo Fisher, is he still the VP of Thermo Fisher? Is he still holding that role?
So he was in 2019. He was named VP in 2017.
He was named in 2019 VP?
No, he was named VP in 2017.
Okay.
And as of 2019, he still was. But because they control all the media and all the sounds so conspiratorial, but this is true. Because they control the Lamonts.
Yeah.
And they really do. They, the Lamonts essentially own the media in this area. And so they have stopped reporting. I've even looked for the latest and greatest information on Mr. Gabal, Josh Gabal's presence at Thermo Fisher. I can't find anything about him, about his presence there in the last year. But as of 20, like, why would they name him VP in late 2017 and then he not be there? I believe he is still there. He still plays a hugely significant role at Thermo Fisher.
That is so when we look, this is like unbelievable conflict of interest when we're looking at this here. Now, I had found the other day an article in Hartford Courant. I wish I had left that in my slides and I didn't. But there was an article that I found in Hartford Courant talking about the Thermo Fisher. And what I read in the article was, when was this published? Probably last week. I have a link to that I'll share with you. So this article last week talked about, or it could have been a couple weeks ago, I apologize on the date on that. But anyway, the article talked about finding the false positives from the Thermo Fisher testing. And the way the article talked about it was so like shallow. It said, there wasn't that many tests done with the Thermo Fisher testing kit, that they caught all of the erroneous tests, the negative, the tests that were flawed. They notified the FDA and Thermo Fisher, and here's the kicker: they're still using it.
Of course,
they're still using it.
And what? They just reconstructed all their test technology? There is no way we can trust what they're saying. No way.
No, and it was interesting in that radio interview that he did, Josh Gabal, that we played at the beginning of the show, how the host of the radio show asks him if it's the positive results that are getting him to do this. Like, is it because of him? Because of him, sorry, Freudian slip of the tongue. Is it because of the testing and the positive testing? He's like, no, it's because municipalities had wanted more teeth in the masking executive order guidelines, executive order. And then you know what he says? He says that because before this, people would get arrested for a misdemeanor. I mean, that's not true. Nobody was getting arrested. Anyone I've talked to, a lawmaker, anyone who knows the law, a police officer, that's not law. They're not laws. How are you arresting someone and charging them with a misdemeanor? That wasn't happening. So he's acting like they did something good. They took back this bad thing and put in place a good thing. So it's good to fine people for not wearing masks, for gathering beyond their arbitrary number that they pick up, or whatever arbitrary rules that they decide. And then they say science, 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 and that's scientism, not science. It's nonsense. Yeah. Just amazing.
Oh gosh, I can't remember who said it yesterday, but someone said something it was like, police enforce the law. This is not a law.
No.
Police aren't gonna, and that's another thing. Like, as if our men and women in blue don't have enough freaking problems. They don't have enough bad, if they go around and ticket people, it's unfair, but people are gonna blame police. And it's not the cops who want to ticket people. Like, they don't. And so for them, I don't understand what's going on. Like, the people in our state government are insane.
I agree.
They are talking talk and doing things that are, and I posted that photo yesterday or the day before, a couple of pictures of them out playing tennis. And it's like, they're not standing 6 feet apart. They're bumping elbows. They're doing, they're pulling out, Governor Lamont is pulling out a trophy, like, to symbol, like, it's separate from Len Fasano, and they're trying to symbolize, like, social distancing and like, it's a big joke to them.
It's nauseating. And I just want to say this important thing too. I want to just honor all of the high school football players who have had their seasons stripped out from under them. I find this to be so heartbreaking. These poor kids, this governor is doing, and he's out playing tennis. He's authorized these soccer games over at the Dunkin' Donut, wherever the soccer field is. I'm not sure if it's a Dunkin' Donut stadium or whatever they call it now. But these poor kids, like, he stole, you're a senior in high school. Have people forgotten? I mean, are you so old and crusty that you've forgotten the importance of what it means to be a senior in high school? I never was a football player, obviously. But what it means to these kids, their last opportunity, they work so hard, their blood, their sweat, their tears, and then this governor just takes this all away, and because he makes up these rules behind closed doors with people like Josh Cabal, who are putting out erroneous testing. Guys, this is no joke. I'm going to show you this slide again because I want you to get as fired up and pissed off as we are. This is just insane. This slide that you're looking at right now is the FDA, and this is them acknowledging that Thermo Fisher, that Josh Cabal, as far as we both know, is still the VP of Thermo Fisher Technology, whatever the heck it is called, that got eaten up by Core Informatics, which you know all this good stuff because you follow that money so good. I appreciate your research 100%, Victoria. I love what you've been digging up because people don't know this, and the press isn't asking this, and then people's lives are being ruined and destroyed. Businesses are being shut. You're taking away, athletes' opportunity for scholarships and to play their last year in high school. Masking 3-year-olds, fining people for not following the rules. It is insanity. I couldn't agree 100% more. It's insanity.
And it's so global, right? It's like, so I'll just say this quickly, but I'm sure many of your viewers know this, but Operation Paperclip in the 40s, after World War II, the U.S. welcomed with open arms Nazi scientists.
Yes.
And so, I mean, they were like the hit with the CIA and the FBI. They welcomed them. And all these, German Nazi scientists came to America because they had so much knowledge regarding the heinous things that they did and medicines, whatever. And, a lot of people think that those scientists and those people who were involved in all that really aided the birthplace of Big Pharma, and its control over us. And people like the Lamonts, their grandfathers, Morgans and the Rockefellers and all those, their grandfathers and close family friends, like they were involved in that. And so it's like this insidious sickness that has just continued. And so, for people who think that this is for us, I had a little because there's people who defend Lamont and who get upset about someone having a different opinion. And someone was saying to me yesterday, like, what, you don't care about the elderly? And my response to that person was, if the state, 70%, 68% of people who died of COVID in this state were the elderly, not because of the disease itself, but because of the filthy, disgusting conditions that our elderly live in elder communities and homes. And I mean, these homes are disgusting, and these are in reports. That's not my opinion. And if the state really cared about the elderly, why weren't they auditing or caring or giving any money at all to these senior homes and community care? They don't care. They have capitalized off COVID. They didn't care in years before about the condition. What does everybody know about senior living? That it's horrible. And it's particularly bad in Connecticut. And so for people out there defending Lamont, saying that he cares about the elderly, he does not.
No.
The state does not care.
No, I agree with you. And that also brings up an interesting point, and it's going to be a curiosity I have, and I've been thinking about this lately with Renee Coleman Mitchell, who was the former DPH head. Now, she, a few weeks back, she came out, publicly made a statement, and she refers to Josh Cabal taking her seat at the table. Josh Cabal, who has no experience in public health, absolutely not a scientist, not a doctor, no experience. Meanwhile, Renee Coleman Mitchell, a very qualified Black woman, was fired from her job. She was basically kicked out. And here's the interesting part of this story that is still unfolding, actually, is they were blaming her for the nursing homes, and she was saying, hold up. He did not want her at the table. And interestingly, too, I want to point out, and I wish I had those notes up here for you guys. I'll post it later after I do the show. But there's a quote from Annie Lamont that I've been sharing around lately. This was in March of 2019. There was a reporter who did a Freedom of Information Act on Annie Lamont and got her email, because that's the importance of freedom of information, folks. They call it FOIA for short, if you have never heard of that before. So they sued the state. They got Annie's emails, and in that email she talked about how the need to thin out the nursing homes, and I thought that was so very interesting. This was March of 2019, and her partner Ezekiel Emanuel, who was big time. If you look him up, he wrote a paper in the Atlantic that would make you want to vomit, where he is basically arguing that there are, certain categories of people who should get priority and care. And he divvies up people and categorizes them up. And one of the things that really was stuck in my mind too, and connects to this nursing home debacle, is he said after 75, you're done. You don't deserve, not that you don't, he didn't say it like that. He said it in a more feel good kind of way, made it sound like, scientific.
Like it was a
he's,
good idea.
He's
wanted to agree with. They are so rehearsed and calculating.
Yeah. So that's her business partner too, this Ezekiel Emanuel, Oak Healthcare FinTech. I'm telling that to you guys in the audience. Check that out. Oak Healthcare FinTech. You can't make this stuff up.
Still the business partner.
Still, isn't he like? Yeah. Is he like? He has a high-ranking partner that like.
Yeah, he's a partner.
I mean, a partner is a partner, like high-ranking. If you're a partner,
to the top
of Oak Healthcare FinTech, which these people, okay, Annie's business partners are deciding whether your kid gets to play football in his senior year, are deciding if your kid has to wear a mask in preschool, are deciding if your businesses get to open, are deciding if you all these bars and restaurants. I supported myself as a young person as a waitress, and I also I waitress in a bar, I waitress in restaurants. I used to make great tip money. That was, I mean, people can support themselves pretty well, and now he just crushed it. He just crushed.
What do kids in? I waitress, I mean, even before, but I waitressed all through grad school and college, and I wouldn't be able to pay my rent without that. Yeah. And they're not only that, they're now telling parents what their kids can eat in school. They're setting policies on what, like, kids aren't allowed to laugh in school anymore. They're going to be installing barriers. They're going to be like literal physical barriers between students. And they, it's just, there's so much that just think about this, okay? COVID was never a pandemic, but if now so many less people are getting sick and even way less are dying, why are restrictions tightening? That makes no sense. You know what I'm saying? Like, just think about it because it's not about COVID.
No, it's definitely not about COVID.
It's about money and control.
Yeah, that's ultimately what it comes down to. And I think one of the scary things, and if we look back to history, you guys should check out this really great resource. It's the Holocaust Museum online. You can check out this resource and just go read through the Nuremberg trials and read about those companies that are now operating in the United States as the pharmaceutical industry that we have today.
Oh, yeah.
also know that the pharmaceutical industry is heavily funding all of our media, all of it. They are heavily funding the media. That's why we're not getting, people say, like Lamont says, Josh Cabal, let's use him because we're talking about him. So Josh Cabal says today or yesterday in that radio interview that Lamont is going to follow the science. Well, no, he's not. Because if we were going to follow the science, we wouldn't be masking up all the people. We would be pursuing herd immunity like Sweden did. We wouldn't be denying fundamental rights to the people of the state of Connecticut. We wouldn't be shutting things down. Businesses wouldn't be closing. The economy wouldn't be tanking. And we wouldn't be under this kind of, it's like a dictatorship. I wake up in the morning and I think, my gosh, what's it going to be like to go to the grocery store today? I cannot wear a mask. Is there going to be like a brown shirt after me that is going to say, I'm going to give you a ticket? I'm going to be like, yeah, no, I don't think so.
Yeah. I was up late last night and Barr gave a speech. Well, Barr, U.S. Attorney General and William Barr, and he came out and I guess he's been saying this stuff all along, but like we don't hear that information in Connecticut because of the corruption, the Democratic Party. So, but he gave a speech last night and he said, I watched it, and he said, coronavirus shutdowns are the most unconstitutional happening since slavery.
Wow.
And I'm going to share the video. Oh, yeah. And CNN played only maybe 10, just enough for him to say that. And then they all, of course, attacked how he was downplaying slavery and blah, blah, exactly how CNN would do. But, he is definitely listening. And he is, because they are, people have no lives. We had a couple of weeks ago, it's the last thing I'll say, because I definitely want to talk a little bit about Thermo Fisher and and being involved.
We want to go deep into that.
So about a couple of weeks ago, there was an ice cream truck driving around our area, and the gentleman, I love the 2-ball screwball, so I get it every time. And he was telling me that he's now doing this. He had to get their job because his old job, which he loved and had forever, they aren't taking people back. And so he now drives an ice cream truck, which there's no shame in. Amazing job. But he has had to reorient his whole life, or they're, because they're behind on rent and all this. And how business is gone, closed, restaurants done, and the craziest part is this is all bullshit. And we don't have to do what he's saying. The people are afraid, which I understand, but people need to realize, like, he doesn't have the authority to do this. Like, the media is telling us he does. This is against the law. And so for us to follow blindly like ants, it's like, we don't have to. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
I agree with you 100%. And I think, this election is really important. I want to encourage people to go to the polls. If he tries to pull some crazy shenanigan and try to close the polls, he's going to create a revolt like he's never seen before.
Trump will call insurrection.
Yeah,
There's a very specific stipulation in the 14th Amendment.
Yeah. He better not even try that. So me personally, I went to the polls to vote in the primaries. I'm going to the polls to vote in the general election, and I seriously encourage each and every person to vote out the party in power. Use your vote wisely, because that will send, first of all, if we can vote out the party in power, we take people like Matt Ritter, who does not care about you. He does not care. He would be Speaker of the House if they maintain power. Let me tell you something. Matt Ritter, whose mother is just appointed to the Supreme Court, because this is how this is the nepotism in our state. But we have to It's crazy. So we have to vote out the power that the party, I'm sorry, I'm getting like the peas, the party that is in power, because that'll send a huge message to the legislature, who needs to get up and do something, because this is just ridiculous. The Republican Party is starting to say some stuff, but Facebook posts are not freaking enough. And I'm sorry, Len Finanzo, when you're over there playing tennis with Lamont and you're not calling him on what he's doing to the people of the state, I have a real problem with you as well.
Yeah.
So this is, we need to flip the power, and we get to vote every 2 years, Connecticut. Your power is locally. Your power is locally in the state of Connecticut. Yes, you worry about the federal government. Yes, that's important too, but your real power is locally at the state. It is not anybody else doing this to us in the state of Connecticut but Ned Lamont. He's the one shutting our business down. He's the one saying your kids can't play football in their last senior year of high school. He is the one that's making 3-year-olds wear face masks. He's the one that's stipulating fines. This is happening here in Connecticut on our soil by our governor, and that is who is doing this. No one else. He is tanking our economy, and he is I think he is the worst governor in Connecticut's history. And I would love to see him get investigated. I would love to see him be indicted for high crimes and treason, actually, because what you have uncovered, Victoria, and we're going to get right into some of your research. And anyone who's new to watching and listening, you can follow Victoria online. She has all of her information right there. I thoroughly encourage you to go through her Facebook wall and check it out. And there's a lot. This is like, we could just go on and on. Like, I was thinking about our last conversation about Josh Gabal and how we got into that, and how awful, like, what this means to our lives here in Connecticut. And it's just so dense. So what post should we pick up on? I'm over here, I'm on September 13th, but where do you want me to go?
What do you think about September 14th?
Let's go up to, you were saying that. Let me go up and find there. Hold on a second, guys. I'm just pulling this up. She's a busy lady, so.
Oh.
So this is, okay, September 14th. COVID-19 is the infectious disease caused. Is that the one?
Yes.
Okay, so we're going to get right into it. Let me pull this up, and we're going to share the screen, and Victoria's going to walk us through this. Give me a second as okay, I got the first slide, identifying the source of the outbreak. Would that be the correct place to be?
Yes.
Okay, and let me pull up you in the share screen. So I'm going to have you on share screen and tell us about, oops, that's me. I don't want me on share screen. I want you on share screen. There we go. Tell us about this.
Okay. So, and I look back and I'm like, that's why they So I don't know if anyone ever really thought about it, but like, I mean, I know the truthers and, people like you, Jay, have, but coronaviruses, it's not new news. Like, they have been around for a long time. And so coronaviruses are well accepted as the common cold in the scientific community. It's just fact. And so it always kind of weirded me out that, like, why is this so new and so deadly if COVID or coronaviruses have been around, for so long? And so it always rubbed me the wrong way that the idea, even in the name, the novel coronavirus, the 2019. So the novel new coronavirus, and this is obviously right off the CDC website, coronavirus that first appeared in China had never been seen before. So it quickly gained the attention of scientists around the world. So, yeah, next picture. I'm sorry, I know.
That's okay. Oh, what you got here?
Yeah. So, let me go to the next picture. Bear with me. Okay. Now, this is also, so what we just looked at was from the CDC, and this one is from the WHO. So naming the coronavirus, and I put all these links in here because I don't ever want anyone to just take my word for it. I put all the links of everything I find right in the post so you can research for yourself. So this Official names have been announced for the virus responsible for COVID-19, previously known as the 2019 novel coronavirus and the disease that causes. So, the CDC and the WHO, the official name for this virus is SARS-CoV-2. Now, there's SARS-CoV. That's how all coronaviruses in general are referred to. So SARS-CoV is all the coronaviruses that came before the current one, SARS-CoV-2. So I'll just read this. ICTV announced severe acute respiratory syndrome coronavirus 2 or SARS-CoV-2 as the name of the new virus on February 11, 2020. The name was chosen because the virus is genetically related to the coronavirus. Blah, blah, blah. So they named this disease SARS-CoV-2. Brand new, taking the world by storm, destroying everything. Oh my God, we have never seen such a disease. Next picture. So
what's that say?
It's so funny. Like when I came, I've been combing. I am obnoxiously persistent. I've always been that way. Like I do not give up. Even when it's not in my best interest, I won't. I will go until I find. So I have been combing through patents for a couple of weeks. And this one, oh my God, so juicy.
What is
this patent was published on May 10th. And the links are right here. All of these people can go in and look for themselves. These are published patents, okay? We talked last week about how coronaviruses are patented, the old ones, okay? This is not new news. Like the CDC has patented coronaviruses, individuals, universities, this is old. Now, so this patent was granted to the Chinese Academy of Inspection and Quarantine.
What?
So it was published, okay, May 10th, 2018. Oh my goodness gracious. Okay, now it is a construction and application of one innovative expression vector for virus-like particles. You don't need to figure out what that means. I'll tell you. So next picture.
Wow, Victoria, this is insane.
Oh, it gets
construction and application? A what?
SARS, oh my God, I don't even. So the present invention relates to the field of, bear with me, I gotta zoom here a little. The present invention relates to the field of genetic engineering and more particularly relates to novel virus-like particle expression, construction methods, and applications thereof. Look at the highlighted area on the right.
Wow.
This specifically names SARS-CoV-2, but this is from 2018.
Wow, that's sick freaking. What did you? I am speechless.
So
I am speechless.
So I'll just read this, and this science they're talking about. I mean, I don't even understand it all. You know, this is genetic and molecular talk. Like these scientists are the most gangster scientists in the world. Brilliant people. So I'll just read this, which you really don't necessarily have to understand to get the gist. Meanwhile, the expression vectors have different promoters and are transcribed into RNA, which is a type of DNA, RNA to different extent. I don't want to butcher that. This scientist and his partners, that's what et al. Means, 2006, applied a single plasmid system to express VLPs comprising the chimera RNA of SARS-CoV-2.
Wow.
But and this patent, it was published in 2018, which means the study started before that. SARS-CoV-2, which is this virus, the novel, we just looked at it in the WHO. That is the name of this pandemic virus, the brand new virus that no scientist had ever seen. It is, they have seen it. Ah,
Oh my gosh, this is
this
wow.
is explosive.
So here's an interesting thing too, that for folks out there watching who are maybe hearing about these patents for the first time, because Facebook, and we might get this video flagged, it might get taken down because that's how bad the censorship is. But Dr. Martin, there's like a little video clip that you had. Anytime that's played or you play that, it automatically gets flagged as fake news, or it gets taken down off the internet. And he talks all about these patents, which here it is. And this is public information. And if you go on Victoria's wall, which is public, she leaves it open so that I really appreciate what you're doing, how you're sharing your work so that people can see this, because guys, we need to do something about this. All right. We need to take action. We need to do something about this. This is insane. I'm just blown away.
I'm blown away. Who like patents on diseases, this has been going on for years. It's not like, this is not new news. Now, the thing that makes patents on diseases so what's the right word? I don't want to say, well, it is wrong, but the thing that makes this such an issue is because there are very specific laws on biological and chemical warfare. So, in the United States, really, and in the world, there are laws against, we talked about this last week, against owning natural things. You cannot, it is illegal to own something natural. So a disease, a virus, a tree, a type of tree, like you can't, anything that grows, anything that comes from nature, you can't patent it. So either coronavirus and all the million other diseases that illegally have patents on them, either coronavirus was manufactured and therefore making patents on it legal because you can own something that's manufactured, or it was natural, it's a natural disease, and therefore a patent on it is illegal. So either way, very inflammatory. Now, I just want to say, let me point out here, this document, this patent specifically, which is a United States patent, like this is okay, I'm not saying that this patent shows ownership of SARS-CoV-2. That's not what I'm saying. That's not what this document is telling us. But what it is telling us is SARS-CoV-2 is not new. This is a document from at least 2 years old, from at least 2 years ago. But SARS-CoV-2 was supposed to not be around until December 31st, 2019, as we all know, in this pandemic. So this document names a disease that was supposed to have just come out. Mind-blowing.
It is mind-blowing. And this is the kind of thing that all the tech companies have been really trying to suppress this information, because Dr. David Martin does a very thorough, he dives deep into this as well. And anytime I had a friend play his clip, and Facebook took it down immediately. I was tempted to play the clip that we had done last week. We were able to do it on YouTube, and it slipped by. Of course, I had a technical glitch, so you only got part of the recording. But I was a little worried about it today because I don't want to get kicked off right away. They were probably going to get kicked off for this. Isn't that sad, though?
You know what I'm going to say? I'm going to have to think of sorry, I just spilled all my water. We're going to have to think of a different word than patent, maybe, but yeah.
We'll have to come up with something. It's really, this is wild. What a really wild piece of information, and I'm just absolutely blown away by this.
So next picture, except my Facebook is like gone.
Oh,
Wait a
no.
minute. It says your page isn't available right now, so bear with me. This has never happened
What?
before.
I'm still on the page myself,
Okay.
but
Well, then, you know what? We'll just
I got
go.
oh man, this is heavy duty stuff we're talking about. I mean,
Yeah.
maybe this video is going to get ripped down. I have no idea. I mean, it's
I would say, yeah, let's just go off.
let's keep going. I got it up here. I could still see the slide.
I can't.
So this is the World Intellectual Property Organization International Bureau. Can you want to look at and see if you can find your page? Is it just like totally?
Is there a way to screen share with me?
I wonder if I can. Hold on a second. Let me go into Skype. So bear with us, guys. We're having just a little bit of a technical glitch.
Everything just.
Can I do that? Hold on a second. So Victoria just lost her Facebook. So just want to pull her. Actually,
yeah.
You know what? Now it's gone off the screen. Now it's.
What?
It's not. Let me see.
Oh, wait. I got it. Hold on one sec.
Okay, let's see. I thought I could share the screen. It's not looking like.
And my Facebook is back up.
Oh, your Facebook's back up. Okay, let me go back to. There we go.
Oh,
sorry about that, guys. A little bit of a technical glitch. You're on the patent.
Yeah. I'm just scrolling down to my posts. Give me one sec. That's so weird how this is happening.
Well, they're definitely when we start talking about the patents, because there is the truth. Okay, so when they've been censoring David Martin, who's been talking about these patents for quite a while, and this is the truth. So this is where we have like some serious issues here, where when they're trying to squash the voice, when they're trying to say you can't talk about these patents, well, they're patenting these viruses. Okay, so to say that they're not being patented is a total lie. Here are the patents. We're looking at them right now. This is the type of stuff that could get our video flagged, get the video taken down. We're still going to talk about it. I'm going to keep talking about it and talking about it and talking about it. Because you know something? This beautiful document that protects our right, we the people, the Constitution of the United States of America, that's a beautiful document. Don't ever forget that. Our first inalienable right is a right to free speech. All right, did you find that out?
Give me one more sec. It just shut me out again.
Oh my gosh, so Victoria's having some.
I'm not giving up on this. Hold on.
Okay, so she's trying to get the patent. See, I have the patent up here that she's looking for to get back on her page. So this is what we're talking about here, and she'll get into explaining all this.
Stand by.
So stand by. We're having some technical glitches with Victoria keeps getting kicked out of her Facebook page, because we're actually on Facebook talking about the patents, and it's definitely a hot button issue to talk about patents and COVID. But it's important to talk about because we need to make the connections to the testing, to the vaccine, to the Lamonts, to Josh Cabal, to Oak Healthcare FinTech. Okay, all those things that I just said, they all connect, because Annie Huntress Lamont is making big time dollars in the healthcare industry, and I'm not saying she owns these patents, but she's benefiting from this funkiness that's going on in our country right now. Okay, so that it all connects when you start to peel the layers away. And now I got Siri coming on my phone. Go away, Siri. I'm telling you start talking about patents.
You know what I'm going to do? I am going to, hold on.
Unbelievable.
Don't bear with me, because my Facebook is like not happening. So, but I have another account, and because all my posts are public, I'm going to, okay, here we go. Because
okay,
you know
we're just having a technical
we're not giving up on this.
I can't believe the Siri turned on while we were talking about patents. You know, your phone spies on you. There's just this article. I don't want to freak people out, but there was just this article out about like Google and the ability to spy on people. And you ever notice that you'll be talking about something, and next thing you know, and you know, it shows up in your feed. You didn't look for it online. You're just talking about it. I mean, this is happening, folks. Did you find it?
So, yeah, my Facebook is being so crazy right now. So tell me what you're looking at on your screen, and I'll explain it.
Okay, so I'm looking at the World Intellectual Property Organization Internal Bureau.
So this is the most explosive So that patent, I believe, of course I can't see it right now, was published April 27, 2017.
Yep.
Okay. And that one was issued out of the University of Michigan, does it say there, or Minnesota?
Let me see. Regents,
Yeah.
Minnesota, yes.
Yes. So now if you go to, so this patent was in the United States. The last one I can't get over that my Facebook doesn't work right now. But that's definitely because what we're talking about. So that patent, it was issued in the United States. The last one we were just looking at was from the Chinese quarantine lab. This one is right out of Minnesota, and if you look down, do you see where it says like inventors?
Yes.
Like the names.
Yes.
Those are scientists and doctors. I looked them up. They're doctors and scientists that work at the University of Minnesota, that work in Minnesota, and it's bananas. So next picture.
All right, hold on a second, guys, while I get there. Here we go. This is the methods involving editing. What is this? Polynucleotides. Am I saying that right? Nucleotides?
Yes. So your guess is as good as mine.
Wow, I know about T cell receptors. I've been reading about those lately. Wow, go ahead. This is pretty wild.
So, my Facebook. So, read to me. Is that?
This is the application. Application claims priority to U.S. provisional patent application number, 622448826.
Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go get my mom's computer and grab her. Just bear with me 10 seconds.
Okay, so we're just having a slight technical glitch, so bear with us. We're getting into some heavy-duty stuff that Victoria found with the patents. I'm going to pull up the slide that she has right here. She can't see the slide on her end, so that gets a little bit tricky to talk about what it is that she found. But this is all public information that you guys can go and find yourself, and I suggest that you do. And this is the type of stuff that could get the video flagged and censored. They're very concerned about my ability to be able to bring these stories and bring Victoria's research out to a more public place, because they are trying to censor independent voices and alternative voices, which is a shame, because that's how we become a better society, is when we can share all this information. And this is the type of criminal leadership that we're dealing with, and it's we got these tech giants that are controlling the show with information, so it's definitely a challenging time.
I got it.
She got it, so she can see. Okay, let me get back over to the slide.
My mom's Facebook. Okay, I'm looking because I keep all my posts public for everybody. So, okay, I'm so sorry. That's
okay. I hope they didn't block you out of Facebook, and that's why you're having a problem, because they put you. Facebook can take your stuff down now. They're doing something where Facebook is going to be able to take your stuff down. They're not even letting artists play their music live anymore. This is how bad Facebook is getting. But on the other end of it, Facebook has great live streaming. And we are also streaming live on YouTube. So if you're watching on Facebook, please check out the YouTube channel and subscribe to that. Right now, we're okay on YouTube. I mean, we probably won't be for long, because all of these tech giants are doing this. But right now, so far, our videos haven't had any problem. And Facebook, we've been so okay. But at any minute now, I'm prepared for the rug to be pulled out and for us to not be able to have these conversations live anymore. So, all right, so we got back onto this patent.
We are on the page where it says this application claims priority to it's the page right after the Minnesota, that first patent page, where it says, okay, so government funding. This invention was made with government support. This is U.S. Okay, government support under whatever number that is, awarded by the National Institute of Health.
That's Anthony Fauci.
Yeah, well, not, and the CDC and WHO and all those are government organizations. I mean, the World Health Organization is worldwide, but the CDC is a government organization. And the National Institute of Health, okay, the government has certain rights in the invention. Next page.
Wow, 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 wow. Hold on a
Oh,
second, guys.
and remember, this is from April 2017, okay?
Just a couple of years. So this is from April 2017. This is
Mhm.
wow, that's so where is the press? Why isn't the press asking about the NIH and these patents and the relationship to now I'm looking at this other page here that you got where
Do
I
you
see it
see where
again.
it says,
I see the
okay,
SARS-CoV-2 and SARS-CoV-3.
they name these diseases that are not supposed to be out. And what the hell is SARS-CoV-3? Oh God, who knows? But SARS-CoV-2 is specifically named in this patent, which that's the novel coronavirus that we're in the pandemic for. It wasn't supposed to exist for another 3 years. And here it is. And this is not the most explosive part. Okay,
Wow.
next picture. Next
Wow,
picture.
wow, wow, wow. Hold on a second, guys, as I switch here. I blew it up really good so people could
Yeah.
hopefully be able to read it. So it just takes me a oh my God, oh my God, oh my God.
Yeah.
What's this say over here, guys?
So look at the company who was involved. Again, these are not patent. Actually, I don't know. A lot of this language is, I'm smart, but a lot of this language, like you have to go to school for 10 years to understand it all. So I am not saying specifically that this patent is for SARS-CoV-2, like in terms of ownership, but it clearly proves that SARS-CoV-2 is not new. And look who was involved in the testing and all the ongoings. Thermo Fisher.
Thermo Fisher Scientific. Let me just get this 1 second. I want to pull this up real quick because I want you guys. Did I take it out of here? Gosh, I hope I didn't. Where is that little bugger? I thought I had a picture of him in here. Do I not have his picture in here anymore? Let me see if I have his picture in here. There he is. I got it. I just what I have up here so people could see is that's Josh Gabal, guys. That's Josh Gabal. How does he relate to this? Well, he's the VP of Thermo Fisher. That's Josh Gabal, guys. That's our state. This is
the VP of Thermo Fisher Digital Sciences. So there are different departments. He's the VP of the technology part, which is such a big. He's not like VP of human resources. He is the VP of technology.
This is unbelievable. So the connection here that we're talking about, I'm going to pull this slide back up because this is so explosive, guys. This is how dysfunctional our mainstream press is, okay? This is how dysfunctional, because this should be front page news all across the land. And you know what? Lamont's power should be stripped away from him immediately. The legislature should take back their role in the state government.
Against rights. This is treason.
It's treason. This is treason. This is high crimes and misdemeanors. I don't know why they always put high crimes and misdemeanors in there. Anyway.
Yeah, it seems like
it's high crimes. It's treason.
Different thing. Yeah, and I shudder to use the word treason because that's some gangs. Like you gotta be real careful. It takes a lot. You have to have witnesses who can attest to the treason. There's it's very hard to prove. And so, but this is, if he knew that this testing was going on and he knew that SARS-CoV-2 wasn't real, and wasn't new, and they also named SARS-CoV-3, which is like, what, are we going to have another pandemic? Are we going to have another, like it says SARS-CoV-2 and SARS-COV-3. There is no SARS-CoV-3 to our knowledge.
No, that's very concerning. One of the a journalist who I really appreciate, Spiro, he talked about Bill Gates, and Bill Gates has been seen saying this. He's like, pandemics are going to become a regular thing, and he's like, the next pandemic, and he's over there like talking, and the next pandemic is coming, you know, the way he talks, and he's got like, I want to jump through the screen and scream at him.
Josh Cabal knows Bill Gates.
Yeah.
Like, Josh Cabal started working at IBM in 2002 and worked there for 11 years. A couple years before, that's when they started digitizing patents. IBM was the first company to digitize patents on a massive scale. It's the first time human innovation had been inputted into a digital system. Josh Cabal was around for that. 11 years of knowledge he gained. And he knew Bill Gates. I know it sounds like a conspiracy theory.
But it's, it's conspiracy is when there's a group of individuals conspiring together to do something. This is a group of individuals who are controlling our state, who are conspiring against the people of Connecticut. And this is happening all across the country. I'd say that Connecticut is the belly of the beast. We are in the heart center of some of the policies that are going out nationally. You've got Scott Gottlieb. You've got Ezekiel Emanuel. These are big time, huge policymakers globally and nationally, okay? You got Bill Gates in there. Bill Gates is connected to all of these guys. Scott Gottlieb, he's connected to Ezekiel Emanuel, Annie Huntress Lamont, Josh Cabal, like you were just saying. It's like George Carlin's thing. It's one big club and we ain't in it. And it's seriously destroying our state and our basic lives. So now, like, you're going to go to the store, you're going to go out somewhere, and you have the potential to have somebody who's going to try and fine you. This governor has far-reaching powers. He can even quarantine you. There was just a legal decision that he can quarantine you. So this has to stop today. This has to stop now. This is just outrageous. I'm blown away by this. Look at that. Thermo Fisher Scientific. Right there.
Yeah, and if you go to the next picture, I mean, these are, and I posted these patent documents so people can go in. I just screenshotted a couple pictures.
Oh, you got the picture I just shared. That's so funny.
Right. So it tells you right there that Josh Cabal works, he's involved with Thermo Fisher. And not only that, if you go to the next picture, things like, so do you see that semaphore?
Hold
Thermo
on a second.
Fisher?
Let me get that to the arrow. I've got it blown up so big so that the audience can hopefully be able to read it as we're looking at it. I blew it up so it's just a little challenging. Oh yeah, here we go. Semaphore. This is the stuff I wanted to talk more with you about because I had, it's so dense what we've been discussing about all the connections, like how Semaphore and Thermo Fisher and Core Informatics.
Yeah, because Thermo Fisher tests are sold at Semaphore. So the Department of Administrative Services, basically the chief financial officer of Connecticut, Josh Cabal, selling COVID tests at Governor Lamont's wife's COVID lab. What the fuck?
Oh my God.
They are conspiring. They can change any data they want and they can do anything they want because she sets the cost of care. She sets the hold on, bear with me. They just started the lawnmower. 1 sec, I gotta.
So I'm just like, wow.
There's so many just banana things.
This is crazy. This is absolutely crazy. So I've got this slide up here, the Semaphore Thermo Fisher Core Informatics. So what is this? This is Connecticut.
So this is from January 2018. Josh Cabal, this article is from where it says Semaphore Thermo Fisher's Core Informatics deepen their ties. So they have been working towards this monopoly. I'm sorry to people, but this pandemic was planned. And it has been years in the making. And so everything down to Anne Lamont, Anne Lamont meeting Josh Cabal and Josh Cabal being CEO at one of her investments, and him working at IBM, and him coming to Connecticut. He's not getting community policy experience. He knows the ins and outs of IBM. He knows, he was there for the constructing of patent technology. This is one of the greatest, the greatest, like, I mean, besides taxes, this is one of the greatest American lies in history. Like, they are conspiring to own the companies, sell the healthcare, sell their technology, change anything they want. Like, this is antitrust. Like, this is illegal. If the masses knew the truth, there would be widespread rioting. And it's really, like, these people are running they're giving us, and the vaccines are coming. Thermo Fisher is gonna make the vaccines.
This is insane. And so for folks that, like, for anybody, this is heavy duty stuff, and some people, this is like, oh my God, I can't believe that. Well, this is global. It's happening everywhere. What about people dying? The blah, blah, blah. Look, this is global. The New World Order. I used to think years ago when I hear that, I'm like, oh, come on, you know? I'm like, nah, that's nothing. And now I'm like, what?
Yeah, I didn't fully buy into it either. I was just, it's too big of a concept. But after, researching so much, that is real. And it's happening now in our very state.
Yeah,
and so,
here, tell me about this slide that we're looking at. Well, we are in the belly of the beast in Connecticut, like I just said before, with all of these folks, these heavy hitter players that are on Lamont's reopening committee, that they're doing this outside of the legislative body. Just that alone, if we just concentrate on the fact that they're operating outside of our basic laws, all of this other stuff that is so explosive and crazy, they wouldn't be able to get away with it, because this is so, like, in your face. Like, what is this saying right here? This article that came out.
Article, I think I also put, I may not have put the link in there, but it says this is from 2018. Semaphore, Thermo Fisher's Core Informatics, which Josh Gabal was CEO of. Core Informatics, okay. Thermo Fisher acquired Core Informatics, okay? And Josh Gabal stayed on, became VP of Digital Sciences at Thermo. So this is 2018, just months after major changes at each company. Semaphore, which is the COVID test lab for, our first lady, her COVID test lab, Semaphore, is deepening its ties with Core Informatics. So at this point, Anne Lamont and Josh Gabal are deepening their ties. Like, what the? Semaphore spun out of New York Mount Sinai Health System in June, and that's why it's called Mount Sinai Genomics. Remember?
That's right. That's the part, the Mount Sinai Genomics.
That's another DBA. It's Semaphore, Mount Sinai Genomics, Semaphore Genomics. That's what they do. They play with the names. They register all different DBAs so they can psych out the public and throw them off. So agreed to implement several modules of Core Informatics platform science. So what this tells us is that Josh Gabal's technology became part of Semaphore's technology. So Josh Gabal's technology became part of Anne Lamont's technology. That is such a phenomenally sized, substantial. I'm mind blown that. I mean, our legislators either didn't know this at all, which is not an excuse, or they really are all involved. Because it's like, don't any of you read anything? So, and I know people are busy, and I know people have lives, but, like, if you can't do your job, legislature, you can't be in there, because
this is well, when we think about our Constitution and what our forefathers thought, because when we became the United States, when we became a constitutional republic, the people that wrote that document knew what it was like to live under kings and to live under an aristocracy who just ruled the people. So, like, when I wake up every morning and I realize that I'm still technically in Connecticut, but our governor is ruling like a king over our state without our legislative body, it becomes something that it's terrifying. It's terrible, and we need to stop it because they keep pushing and pushing and pushing, and the only thing that's going to stop it is wake the sleeping giant. That's the people.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you go to the next picture, and this doesn't prove anything, but with everything else, it's like something that seems like, if it was just this coincidence, it would be a coincidence, but with everything else that you take into account, this is not a coincidence. So do you see Ray's bill?
And yes, I'm going to pull this screen up. Here we go. Oh gosh.
So this was one of Lamont's first, because he was named a couple years ago, and this is one of his, they jumped. Josh Gabal's here by now, January 2019, okay? And this is a bill and now law that was changed and went into effect October 2019, which is two months later, we have COVID. Okay, so this bill is an act concerning the Department of Public Health recommendations regarding remote access to electronic medical records. Personally, I think that the Department of Public Health is conspiring with our state leaders and are manipulating test data. They are actively going in and changing test results. I'll leave that at that. So this bill updates or changed the law because you're not supposed to be able to go in and look at people's, HIPAA, you're not supposed to be able to have access to person's electronic medical records. You can't. They changed that law in October 1st, 2019. So they say that, they redefine clinical laboratory means any facility, because this is saying who DPH can do this to. They can do it to clinical laboratories, which means any facility or other area used for microbiological, serological, chemical, hematological, blood, and immuno.
That's
yeah.
I think it's a blood thing.
Yeah. Blood, biophysical, cytological, pathological, or other examinations of human body fluids, secretions, excretions, or exfoliated tissues. So basically any lab that does anything with anything regarding blood testing or any sort, like they literally just blanketed every single testing anything in Connecticut. So if you go to the next picture.
So now, is this meaning like let you go through the next picture. So I'm like sitting here, like my face is just jaw dropped here. Okay. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is still the bill here, and I see the highlights. Yeah. Okay.
Still the bill.
Which is a law now, people.
Yeah. October 1st, 2019. Convenient, right? Convenient. All these procedures change. All these access procedures for 2 months before COVID. Okay. So this just goes on to say, I'll just read this. When a local director of health, the local director's authorized agent, or the Department of Public Health receives a report of a disease or laboratory finding on the commissioner's list of reportable diseases, emergency illnesses and health conditions, and laboratory findings, the local health the local director of health, the local director's authorized agent, or the Department of Public Health. So basically anyone that works in health, which is bananas, may contact first. Didn't used to be like that. You were supposed to, they changed all the procedural rules. So may contact first the reporting healthcare provider and then the person with the reportable finding to obtain such information as may be necessary to lead effective control of further spread of such disease. In the case of reportable communicable diseases and laboratory findings, this information may include obtaining the identification of persons who may be the source. So right here, they are telling us they are getting into contact tracing. That this is unbelievable. These HIPAA laws have been done and decided for years. And so for them to go in and not only modify, but like allude to contact tracing, something that is never 2 months before the outbreak. That's not, listen, I know COVID is real. I'm not saying COVID is not real. And I am not saying that people are not dying. Of course people are dying. But this was set up. And that's just, too many things have gone in their favor. Too much suppression of other types. Robert F. Kennedy's legal team, or former legal team, is suing Facebook for their suppression of, or Children's Health Defense League, yes, which is, they're suing Facebook for their suppression of content over the truth about this disease. And Facebook admitted that they've conspired with, I posted all that information, they've been conspiring with the WHO and CDC to suppress content about this disease. Why would they do that? Okay, so back to this bill. The Department of Public Health shall have access, including remote access. So what does this mean? DPH, anyone can sit at home, say the head of DPH wants some wine at night and is sitting at home after dinner. She can go to any medical record she wants, anybody, and do whatever she wants.
This is so unconstitutional because our right to privacy is protected. Mm-hmm. This is
not anymore.
I cannot believe, something, being in the medical freedom movement for all these years that I've been in there, and I did not know that this bill was going through. You know what I used to say, when we actually had the legislature open and doing their job, I used to say it's like death of liberty by 1,000 bills. 1,000 legislative bills, because gets overwhelming. I cannot believe this passed. This is insane, guys. Yeah. Do you see this? This is crazy.
And I'll just, this last sentence, the Department of Public Health shall have access, including remote access, in a manner approved by the Commissioner of Public Health, which means nothing, which means all bets off, to each electronic medical record that lists concerns to each electronic medical record that concerns a reportable disease, emergency, illness, or health condition. So what? All of a sudden, we're talking about medical records and communicable disease? Why? It's like 70 days before the outbreak.
So this law passed. This law came into effect right before COVID. Mm-hmm. This is very this is explosive. This is very concerning, and this is also the dysfunctionality of our press. Okay, our mainstream press, and I mean that across the board. I throw them all. NPR, guys, NPR. Follow the money. Democracy Now! Hate to tell you that. Follow the money. All the players that are, the pharmaceutical industry is huge. It controls the media via advertising dollars. We and New Zealand and the United States are the only two countries in the world who can advertise direct to consumer their products and their drugs and their products. So, and then when you go back into history, right, and you look at the Holocaust Museum, and somebody had posted this tweet or tweeted on Twitter. That's so funny. Anyway, a snapshot from the Holocaust Museum that sent me down to that website, and just like rereading about the Nuremberg Code, and then I knew this before in history. I think a lot of us know this. It's like it's almost been like watered down in our consciousness. Like, yeah, okay. And then we realize that these places are still in business. Okay, that these entities are still here, and they're doing a similar thing, and people aren't seeing it. Oh, it's just a mask. Oh, we're just gotta flatten the curve, guys. This isn't going to go away, okay? Look, I cannot believe what you found over here, this law. They could look at your medical records without even you knowing it.
And that, yeah, and that, like, for that to be discussed in January and then go into effect literally 70 days before this pandemic, that is insane. Like, for HIPAA to be the way it was for years, and then 70 days before the outbreak, they changed the law.
Wow. That's really powerful. Now, New York had similar things happening in their statutes right before the outbreak as well, because no, this is not just the United States. This is not just Connecticut. This is a global thing. It's a small little club that we ain't in, and it is global. And when you look at someone like Bill Gates, who has never been elected, who isn't a doctor, who isn't a scientist, he just is a man with a lot of money and a lot of power, and he controls the WHO. He's controlling. Oops, hold on a second. I have a cat in here. Hold on a second, guys. Sorry about that. So he's gonna tear apart my studio, and he shouldn't have been in here. So the whole thing is just like, this is just insane, absolutely insane, insane.
The best, juiciest information is right in the state website. Like going to cga.ct.gov, which talks about all their bills. Like, people, if people. I'm always saying this, like, they keep the powers that be, not just in Connecticut, right? The 40-hour work week was designed to make people just too tired to go to work and take care of their families, and no one has time to research. Imagine if people only had to work 20 hours a week. Imagine how much people, as much as I've learned, I left my job last year, and I've been a research monster, but I didn't do that before because I always worked at least 2 jobs, and so every part of this is like, that this is conspiracy against rights.
Yeah, I'm just gonna I put that slide back up there real quick. This is law now. You can even go look up this law now yourself. This is Ray's bill. Here's the number. You can type it in. You can go and you can read this whole thing. This just happened right before COVID.
Yeah.
This is mind-blowing.
They announced it, so there was a lot of people who were pissed because they announced this was happening. I had posted all about the medical records thing, but I didn't know the law went into effect October 1st of last year. Wow. Like, they didn't just decide because of COVID. They didn't decide, as they told us that they were modifying that law during COVID because of the outbreak. That's not what happened. They changed the law in October of last year, which is like, if you just go off lies alone, like, people have to see it. They have to at least realize there's more to the story.
Yeah, this is just wild. So the fact that they can do this, so if you go and you get tested for a communicable disease or a health issue, you get tested, the state of Connecticut is going to know your results before you.
Oh yeah, and they can, because Josh Gabon does the technology for these COVID tests, and Anne Lamont owns a lab that does it. I would not, in fact, I would stake my life on the fact that they have told people they had COVID when they didn't.
Well, this is what we're discovering now, and I'll pull up this slide here because this is the FDA slide that I had pulled. This is stating about how they were alerted. What's the woman's name now, the head of the DPH? It's Deirdre something. It used to be Coleman Mitchell, which I hope Renee Coleman Mitchell comes out and sues the pants off of Lamont. She should sue him. She should sue him till he can't be sued no more and blow this out the water because she was unjustly fired from a position for not playing ball with his cabal. And she complained about Josh Cabal, talking, about the fact that she was left out. Here it is. She's the DPH head. Renee Coleman Mitchell. She's the DPH head. She's got like 30 years experience. And Josh Cabal is a business guy, a tech guy. And he takes the seat where she's supposed to be. And if you look at the executive orders, guys, you go look at it and it tells you, even the recent one with the fines. I mean, he's written 70 of them. So the recent ones with the fines, and he goes, and this is the economic, and they do it in a short version, the acronym. It's CDECD. That's the Connecticut Department of Economic and Community Development. Okay. And that's there you go. Boom. And this is oh my God, people, you got to see this. I mean, this is a lot. This isn't made up. This isn't fake. You could go look at this. This is the Connecticut raised bill. This is now a law that they passed right before COVID, where the state of Connecticut is in your medical records, your medical business.
And Lamont is in your medical records. The Department of Administrative Services, the Chief Financial Officer of Connecticut is in your medical records. We are not closed because of the dangers of a severe cold. I'm sorry. No. We are not closed because of that. We are closed because of money. Because every test that gets taken, they get a cut of. Now, and I just want to say, I know we've been running, but I posted yesterday about, I posted a lot about what's going on with kids. And the things they are going to be doing this year to your children and next year, they have specific meals for kids.
This is Hitler.
They are not allowed to sing. Children with developmentally disabled kids they should not be exempt. So I posted the superintendent's digest.
Yeah, let me see if I could grab some of that. I was just looking at that you had posted. Now I'm having trouble shrinking my screen a bit, so bear with me and let me see if I could pull that up. Let me see if I can do that.
We don't have to go through all of that. I just wanted to.
Well, it's really disturbing. Let me just pull this up. I'm so far so good. Haven't lost anything. And you just put that out there. Let me go up there. So I just think that this is very disturbing how they're treating our children. If my children were young, they would not be in public school. I have four children. And the last two going through high school have 2 more years to go, and they want to go. And so my role as a parent is wanting them to make decisions for themselves. And, we talk about what's happening. But if I had a little child, and actually when they were little, we did homeschool. They wanted to go to school. And when they were older, if it were up to me, I was going to not have them go. I would say it's government school, and at the time now it's like a thing. People call it government school. But I had just said, oh, no, we don't want to go to government school. And, they got a little older and they wanted to have that kind of public school experience. And I get that because there's a social element of that. But right now, what they're doing to our children, when I looked at that post that you shared, I was appalled. And, the Weimar Republic, you can go look up all the early Nazi Germany stuff, and they were telling the citizens what to eat. You got to have special meals. And this is what they're doing with the children.
This is, like I said, the best stuff, the most It's right on the state website. The Superintendent's Digest, I posted all the links. It's all emails from the heads of education in our state. So, like superintendent, commissioner, boards of ed, some of the most corrupt educators, some of the most corrupt institutions and persons in our state. This is all the emails they've sent to teachers.
Look at this. Check this out. So I pulled up to them on there, and I just jumped into the slide where you have the second one here, where is it the second one or the third one? This one is to install physical barriers. Do you see that one? Oops, yes, I'm on the wrong thing.
I'm on it.
Oh, so look at it. Install physical barriers such as sneeze guards.
And this is from, these are brand new. All these pages that I posted are from the first week of September. So it's not like they wrote this in March and when they were really worried. No, this is what's going to be happening going forward. No, you know? So wow. They talk about install physical barriers, like provide households with menus. What? Moms and dads have been cooking meals for their kids since the beginning of cooking meals. And what? You think you can come in here and tell Mike, I don't have kids, but I get real riled up when they're, and for them to do that, and it gets worse. If you go to the next page, it says there's someone has to question, are there health hazards of wearing a mask for an extended period of time regarding lack of oxygen and buildup of CO2? No.
That's a lie.
That is a lie. They say, no, there is no peer-reviewed scientific evidence, blah, 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 blah. That's a lie. That is an outright lie. Then they go on to say, one can talk, but avoid loud talking, yelling, or singing. Are these people insane? Next picture. The need for a medical exemption for the wearing of a loose-fitting face mask. I love how they say that because it's not loose-fitting. Of the style to be used in school is rare. Okay, listen to this. Asthma, heart disease, kidney disease, or other similar conditions are generally not considered for exemptions for masks.
That's a lie. My stepfather has a serious he has a heart defect, yeah. And my mom gets concerned because they'll put on the mask to go in the store just for a few minutes, and he has to take it off his face because he can't breathe. He got to get out of the store right away. She gets very concerned about his safety and welfare. That's a lie. This is a lie. This is an outright lie.
They are lying to teachers. Okay, here, look at this. Children with developmental disabilities may not tolerate or be able to comply well with mask wearing, but this alone should not be the basis for exclusion. So a child with developmental autism, maybe they can't handle the sensation of a mask. Too bad.
Wow.
Yeah. Next picture. I know we're almost done. So they talk about, and we'll just fly through this one. Face shields are not a replacement for masks. So kids have to wear a mask under a face shield. Okay. And I saw a clip on the news, and I don't think they meant to play it. It was 10 seconds, but there was kids sitting at their desks, mask, face shield, and partitions encasing their desks. Okay. The mask should wrap around both or around the sides of the wearer's faces and extend below the chin. Next picture, and this is the last one. This is so mind-blowing to me. Like when toileting a student.
Oh, this really freaked me out too.
Yeah. So a face covering mask, gloves, and if soiling of the staff person is anticipated, a gown. Imagine what that's doing to little minds. If the person that they trust, a teacher, is bringing them to a bathroom in a gown, gloves, face mask. One of the other things I posted yesterday, my mom, she shared this with me, a a family friend, her daughter is 6 or maybe first or second grade, came home literally hysterical, crying, crying, crying. Someone bumped into her at school. She was convinced she was going to die.
Wow.
And
That's
it's
terrible.
like, that's what's happening.
That's absolutely terrible.
And,
Wow, that's that. You know
and
what?
Think about it. Like, why is this happening? If the deaths are like leaving, like COVID, people are not getting as sick. People are not dying as much. Why are seniors sick? I had someone tell me, and it's the last thing I'll say, that they told me a story of someone they were close with who is absolutely convinced their father died of a broken heart because he was alone in his home, or not his senior living home, and they would not allow him. He was in isolation. He was not sick, but he was. So, like, there are travesties being committed against us for money, and people need to wake up to that, or this is going to be an entire generation of unstable children. And yeah, so
Yeah, that's
wild.
what they're doing in the schools with the masking and the social distancing. For little kids, I can't imagine. I cannot imagine, like, having raised 4 kids and being through the little kid phase and the whole 9 yards. I couldn't imagine. I've worked in daycares. I've taught. I used to run homeschool co-ops with a group of other moms. And I just, I'd work with the children with like art supplies and stuff, and they do art projects. And these little beings, these sweet, first of all, little kids are just the sweetest thing. And it's a lot of fun to work with groups of children. And so I really enjoyed my time teaching. And I couldn't imagine teaching like that and doing that to these little children. And the children are very touchy-feely. Like, they'll, when they're little, like, they need to hold your hand. They might tug on your skirt, and they tap you. And, I'd read the kids' stories. They'd sit on my lap. And, I had one and she would just jump right in my lap, a little cutie pie. And I couldn't imagine not having that hands-on with children in a learning environment, to be able to hold their hand, to lead them down the hall. Especially some of them, every little child is different, and some little kids, they need a little extra, and some are more independent, and every kid is different. To put them into this type of robotic system, because that's what it feels like. And I feel like that's what a tragedy for these poor children. And I think about the families who may not like what's going on, but they got to put bread on the table. They got to feed their families. They don't have the ability to homeschool and save their kids from this tyranny in the public government school system that is turning in our schools into something unrecognizable. Look what they just did to the poor high school students with their football season. These kids, and I think about the devastating consequences for these teenagers, and people will make fun of it, saying, "Oh, who cares? It's just football. Whatever." It's like, you have no idea. You've become a Scrooge in your old age if you don't understand how devastating that is for seniors in high school. And you need to check yourself, because it matters. It matters a lot. And I'm sorry for the young folks. This disease is not killing them. We got to worry about grandma. We always had to worry about grandma. We've had a flu. What about grandma then? I mean, come on. This is nonsense.
I just want to say, like, of course, being a teacher is very hard work. Of course. But these teachers need to wake up. They need to realize that these emails, these fraudulent, lie-filled emails that their superintendent is sending them, it's full of lies. They are being made to fear. Like, because if superintendents have teachers on their side, being all afraid, being like, I'm not going to work, because they're afraid of COVID, they need teachers on on their side. So they're lying and scaring the shit out of them. And teachers need to realize like you have a responsibility to step up and find the truth for these kids you pledged your careers to. They have a responsibility to protect young minds and their socio-emotional selves, and they are not doing that. And I have teachers in my family, I value teachers, but you have a responsibility to us, not the superintendent who just sits on his ass and collects tax dollars. They are politically and financially motivated, and teachers need to wake up.
Well, yeah, the superintendent and they're making like $100K a year. Okay, 80K a year.
They all get paid in stock. They're all corrupt. They all do the same frauds that the state government does.
Yeah, I've seen it in my own district where they're not, masks are just fine. Your kid has to wear them, denying like what, where it said in this paperwork here that you can see on Victoria's wall saying that, there's no reason these kids can't wear masks. They're basically saying that these medical conditions aren't affected by wearing a mask, but that's absolutely true. What are they talking about? They're outright lying. How can you lie about something like that? We are in such a mess that we need everybody to wake up, all hands on deck, and really, because our children are going to pay the biggest price, and they already are. I really feel so heartbroken for all these kids that are in this situation where they're masked up. They're told they can't touch their friends. A little girl goes home. Somebody touches her at school. They bumped into her, and she's worried she's gonna get sick and die. That's not good. And then we, and we'll wrap up after this. But I just wanted to talk about herd immunity, because this was something that in the medical freedom movement that we've had a lot of discussion on. So the herd immunity that Sweden did not do these lockdowns. Sweden did not make masks mandatory. They did not close schools down. They left that up to the citizens to wear a mask if they wanted to, and people stayed home if they were sick, which I think is a good policy. I think, and I've always said this to my kids too. No, I don't want you to go to school. I don't care if you got homework. You're sick, you're going to stay home until you don't got snot running out of your nose. And I had the luxury of being able to do that. I think all parents should have that right to stay home with their babies, stay home with their children, and nurse them back to health. But the herd immunity, okay, which now all it is vaccine, mask, all pharmaceutical, medical devices. I want you guys to pay attention to that. That's all they're talking about. We have an immune system granted to us by God, the creator, the immune system to live in an environment and an atmosphere here on the planet Earth, surrounded by viruses and bacteria every day of our life. And we have an immune system.
Raised in a bubble that with them, they're going to be so sick there forever. And you know who's going to profit off those illnesses?
Annie Lamont.
Damn right.
Josh Cabal. So,
damn.
Things to think about, guys, as we close out this show today. Thank you so much, Victoria. It's so nice to see you. I'm glad you're feeling better.
Oh, my pleasure.
And we'll be back live again next week. And I just want to, leave these thoughts in your mind. Thermo Fisher. Think of these. These are the buzzwords, okay? Thermo Fisher Scientific, SEMA4, Josh Cabal, Oak Healthcare FinTech, Healthcare FinTech, Annie Huntress Lamont. There's your homework. Go look all those things up, okay? Go look that up, and you could get so pissed off that you're going to want to show up at the Capitol with a pitchfork. I kid you not. Or nobody's going to show up at the Capitol with a pitchfork. I don't want anybody to misconstrue what I'm saying. We want the governor to pay the price through the law. We want restitution through the law. We want an indictment. We want an investigation. We want this lockdown to end. You know what? And the best thing that you can do is go to the polls in November 3rd. Don't do a mail-in ballot. Take your butt down to the polls and vote in person and flip this state. And I'm not saying Republicans are perfect in Connecticut, because they're not. They're not, but we got to flip the power. If we can make this governor a lame duck, first of all, it's going to send a huge message if he loses power. It'll send a huge message that the people are pissed off. And it could help at least stop him a bit and maybe get the legislature, because it's an election year. That's why the legislature is acting lame. This is disgusting, legislators. It's terrible. You should all be ashamed of yourself that you're not doing more to protect our inalienable constitutional rights. You took an oath to serve in office. This governor is acting illegally. So the legislature, after this election, better do something. And we better hope that we flip it. We better flip this state. At least flip the House, flip the Senate. We should be able to flip them both. Get out there, go to the polls and vote, because I don't trust mail-in ballots. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Connecticut is high up there for voter fraud, okay? That's just the truth. That's not something I'm making up. That's not my opinion. But Connecticut has got huge problems with voter fraud, and that is not a lie, okay? That's not partisan. That's not fake news. That is the absolute truth. So go to the polls and vote. Do not trust mail-in ballots.
Amen.
Oh, thank you so much, Victoria. I love you. Thank you for your research. You're a beautiful soul. God bless you, Mama.
You too. Thank you.
Till we see you guys again.